Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm Monk, and today we are joined by none other than Gavin himself. We are continuing our podcast series in which we discuss the 100 greatest games that we have ever played and enjoyed. And at the moment, we are in the nomination part of that. Last time we done this, we got up to number 26. We have nominated 26 games between us and, of course, the community. And we're going to continue from basically where we left off. Now, I didn't explain exactly how we was going to do this towards the end of this series. And what we're going to do is we are going to get the 20 of the best games we have ever played and dub them as the best games ever made. Now, me and Gavin aren't necessarily going to be able to do this because he thinks one game is good, whereas I know it's crap. And I think they are all good and I deserve all 20 slots. So what we're going to do is get none other than Marty involved. He is going to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And me and Gavin are going to have to shout it out between our games and see which one Marty sides with. Now, Marty's not here to defend himself, but I will kick his ass if he doesn't pick my games.
Yes.
There we go. I've said it on record now.
You have to now.
Okie dokie. So let's start with number 27. Okay. Now, number 27 is a game that I personally loved an awful lot, and that's going to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Yeah. Now, I think this is a phenomenal game, and not because it's part of the Assassin's Creed franchise, believe it or not. I actually didn't really get into the franchise until this game came out. For me, it was about the pirates and the fact that you could have your own pirate ship, go around stealing other ships. I don't think there is a better pirate game out there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for me, Black Flag is undoubtedly one of the best pirate simulator, experience games that I've ever played.
Yeah, pinnacle of the pirate sort of series. I mean, we've had announcements from what was the game that Microsoft announced that was a pirate game? Can you remember what that was?
Are you on about the Ubisoft game that was kind of like?
Yeah, it's coming out. It's not coming out. It's here. It's not.
Yeah. Oh my god, the amount of money they spent on that game. I don't know why I can't remember what it's called, but
that one anyway. We'll eventually remember what it's called. But yeah,
I don't know if it's ever going to be released. Even if it is released right now, I don't know what the status of it is. I know they've spent an unbelievable amount of money, and what I've heard about that game you're talking about, not good.
Yeah, because apparently when they first announced it, there was all these features, and they were like, "This is going to be fantastic." And when they recently announced something about it, apparently they got rid of most of the best features of it. But
yeah,
again, but Black Flag was absolutely fantastic. It's probably one of the Assassin's Creed games that I've put quite a few hours into. It is decent, but again, the same as you, I didn't really play the Assassin's Creeds before the Black Flag. Black Flag was sort of my starter, and then Odyssey.
Did you know that apparently there is another sequel planned that is in development right now for Black Flag?
If they sort of stick to the same sort of the way the game worked, then I see it being a great success. But if they move off what it originally was, then again, they're missing out.
I think it's a little bit interesting as well how Black Flag is one of those games that I think it has a Welsh main actor or Welsh main star of the series. And I think that's quite rare. You don't often see, especially from Wales, many named people from there. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. That, to be honest, it's probably a contender for one of the top 20 Black Flags. So I won't fight you on that one if you do put it in. But so my number 28 would have to be Green Hell. Did you ever play that?
I didn't. I know you and Marty did, but no,
yes.
I didn't play that game, unfortunately.
So you dropped in the middle of an island, and you sort of got to survive and find your way out. And I think you've got to find your girlfriend in it. And there's so many different aspects. There's spiders you've got to be careful of. You've got to, as you're running through the forest, you've got to listen for these spiders because obviously they make like a little noise. You've got to listen for snakes and things like that. There's also what I assume are cannibals on the island, so you've got to be careful of them. It was absolutely fantastic. Plus, they did port it to the VR. Now, I've never played it in VR, but I hear it did do quite well in VR as well. So,
I know it's on console as well. I actually tried personally to request a review copy of that, but unfortunately I got denied.
yeah,
Um,
it is a really good game. I mean, it's one that we sort of got the first taste of Green Hell, and then we moved on to games like Sons of the Forest and
okay,
the Forest itself. So yeah, Green Hell's one of my contenders. So, right
fair
there.
enough. Okie dokie. Another one for me has to be number 29 is Bully. Now, I don't believe it's actually called Bully everywhere in the world. I forget its other name that it's released with in America. Uh,
Yeah.
Candace something. I could be completely wrong. I should have really Googled that before mentioning it. But Bully for me is a great game. It was made by Rockstar. It's a game that just couldn't be made today. If anyone's ever played it before, you end up being this kid, and essentially you've got all these different houses and groups that you can join. You could be a geek, you could be a bully, you could be a jock. And it's also an open world game, so you do have a school and classes for you to attend, mini games that are included as well, and then you've got like a little town that you can essentially explore. um, it's a great game, a lot of fun played in it. I actually reviewed it recently, and it unfortunately is one of those games that just could not get made today because of how controversial it would be.
Yeah, I think there's, I mean, I think there's too much of a, oh, it's got to be politically correct. You've got to include this, you've got to include that. You can't put this in, you can't put that in. I understand, a lot of people do get ahead over certain things, but if you're making a game and you're not making it to sort of justify being bad to someone or calling someone out for any one of their preferences, then I don't see the harm in it. But again, you wouldn't be able to make it today. But Bully, I haven't played all of it. I've probably played a, an hour, maybe, and 2 hours. So it's probably something I
Seriously?
should pick up. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's a classic.
it's one of them that I think when I originally played it, I was a kid and I just didn't pick it up well. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do need
I
to
get
pick it
that.
up. Yeah, definitely. Right. So um what- The Sims. So The Sims have been a pinnacle with a lot of people. I mean, there's so many DLCs for it, there's so many things you can do. But I remember both me and my wife, actually, it's probably one of the only games that me and my wife have played together, where she's been sat
Yeah.
on her laptop and I've been sat on mine and playing The Sims. So yeah, The Sims has to be in one of my
It's
top
such an
100.
iconic game, though, The
Yeah,
Sims, isn't it? I mean, there's been different variations through the years, absolutely. And I think the latest Sims game that we've got has a ridiculous amount of expansions. And I
oh
believe it's
yes.
now even free to play, to be fair.
The base
Um,
game is, yeah, Sims
yeah.
4, the base game is free to play, but then again, you've got all the DLCs.
Yeah, I know that my partner, for instance, she is obsessed with The Sims,
Yes.
and she wants to build a PC just for The Sims, so she can have every single expansion she could possibly have, and have that running up to, the wazoo. So
Yeah.
it's an incredibly popular game.
Yeah.
I think my next choice has to be a controversial one. Again, I know this because there's quite a big fan base that loves the first one in this series, and I'm going to pick number 3, and that is Dragon Age Inquisition. This is a open world RPG with real player agency, where you get to make choices, decisions that affect your gameplay. There are many expansions to this game, and for me, it was the first one in the series that I ever played, and because I enjoyed it so much, I went back and played the other ones in the franchise as well. And I am very excited that there's going to be a Dragon Age 4 coming out, hopefully soon. I haven't heard anything about it recently, but it is a phenomenal game. If anyone hasn't played it, I would highly recommend doing it because you get to fight dragons.
Yeah, that's a selling point. That's just the tagline of the game. You get to fly dragons.
No, fight,
Oh,
fight them,
fight.
not
Okay, I thought you
fly
said
them.
fly. Never mind. But I mean, you sort of Skyrim, you get to fight dragons and you do get to fly them, but I don't know if I've played Dragon Age with you and Marty. So to be honest, it's one of them things that I've played and I've probably put to the back of my mind because I've not
Yeah.
enjoyed it, or either I've not played it.
Well,
But
for me, I mean, I thought the dragon bit was kind of cool, but not because it was a main feature of the game, because it was actually kind of an extra thing. You never had to even see a dragon. In fact, you kind of like explored these. It wasn't necessarily an open world game like you expect GTA, but it was pockets. So you'd teleport to these pockets of open worldness, and within those open world, every now and again, you might be able to stumble upon a dragon. It'd be its own little mini boss quest and that kind of thing. Um, I thought it was really interesting. I thought the Dragon Age Inquisition had a few interesting mechanics, and it had enough player agency for no two play styles or playthroughs to ever really feel exactly the same.
yeah, again, probably one of them games that I should put on my bucket list of games that I should give a go. But there's too many games on the bucket list to play.
Never ends.
No,
Never ends.
32 for me, so I would have to choose Abe's Odyssey, which is
Good choice.
yeah, it's a. I mean, I can remember from years ago. I don't ever remember getting past probably level 10 on it because I got too enamored with them taking over the bad guys and making them fart and doing that. But I was a kid, so it's it's something you've got to do. But
Yeah.
I remember trying to play it again a few years ago with Marty, but we never got into it. But
Did you
Abe's
ever play
Odyssey,
the remaster that they released?
it was on the Xbox, wasn't it? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and Marty tried to play it, but I don't know if it was a multiplayer or not. But I mean,
It wasn't.
it wasn't okay. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and I mean, I'd happily pick it up now and just try and complete it for once. But yeah, Abe's
I
Odyssey
can't believe
has to
you
be.
completed it. That's a really good game. It's
Yeah.
a game that I've completed, and I completed it with the object of killing every single Abe dude that I could see.
Okay. Do you
So,
mean the ones you've got to rescue?
yeah,
So you
I went ahead and just
the
killed every
dark
single one.
side. Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's only one Abe.
yeah,
Oh,
wiped up the whole race. It was quite fun.
yeah.
You actually get it's one of those games where you actually get different endings to pay depending on how you played.
Okay.
So if you don't save enough, you get a pretty bad ending.
Abandoned. See, I thought that was sort of a new feature that we've started getting with games, whereas as you're playing through, your choices you make sort of affect the ending. I
I
think,
think it's been around for a lot longer than we
yeah,
think. I think with the choices thing. I mean, Abe's definitely an old one,
yeah,
absolutely. But
yeah.
there are Dragon Age Inquisition being one, Fallout, those kind of things where there are different endings to the game, which
How
is
you play your play style basically decides the ending of the game.
yeah. Right, my next choice is got to be Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords. We didn't mention it in the last episode. I'm a bit surprised myself. This is an amazing game that's both on PC and console, which allows, the more people to play it. It's kind of a kingdom builder game and, of course, a medieval simulation game, whereas you can kind of just go about your way however you want. There's real-time strategy where you have an army and a battlefield and troops to deploy. There's castle sieges. There is a kingdom for you to literally build up and for you to make I say alliances with, but that doesn't really work. You can beat them and threaten them and make them pay you. That, for me, works out rather well.
Just like most countries do nowadays, but yeah.
But yeah, no, Bannerlords for me has to be on the list. There's so many mechanics in it. It's a game that's still looked after today. It's been around for a few years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, good game.
I have played a little bit of it. I know you and Marty have played quite a lot of it. But again, it's one of them. My attention span as I get older is getting worse. I mean, it wasn't great when I was younger, but as I'm getting older, it's getting a lot worse.
Well,
But
the thing is, the Mountain Blade is a long game, and it's not an easy game. It's a slow burn. It's one of those games that's designed to have a lot of time put behind it.
yeah,
But I do think it's unique because I would say it's a 4X strategy game. But this is a game unlike most 4X strategy games where you actually do control a person, you control one dude
A single
and
person.
you have to do things based around him, where it is recruit more people, recruit more castles, create a kingdom or not. Yeah, there's lots and lots to it.
Yeah, definitely a game worth playing. 34 for me would have to be State of Decay, either 1 or 2.
You
I
have to
remember.
pick one.
Yeah, pick one. Okay. Start with we'll go with the second one because I know the second one was a bit better to play. But State of Decay 2 was absolutely fantastic. I remember playing the first one and really enjoying it. And then when they announced that they were doing a second one, which was also multiplayer, I thought was absolutely fantastic because of the you've got to create your community. You've got to make sure that your community is happy. Your moral within your community has to be good. Otherwise, people start to deteriorate in themselves, and you've got to make sure you've got enough food, you've got enough resources going on. And again, if you haven't got, say, if you've just been out on a scavenging run, but you haven't got the storage back at base, then you lose stuff. So you've got to think about a lot of it, and you've got to plan ahead, as well as sometimes you could be out and next thing you know, your base is being attacked, swarmed by zombies. So you've got to be careful where that's concerned. But it is, State of Decay is probably, as a franchise, is a really, really good game.
Interesting, because I would say it's a decent game. I played 1 and 2. I really liked number 2, and it's one of those ones that I did actually play with friends as well. So you get a bit of a unique experience playing with friends, I think, much better than single player.
Yeah.
And I think it's a decent game, but I don't think it deserves to be on this list.
The
That is what
fights
it
have
is.
begun.
Exactly. Okay, so my nomination is none other than Fable 2. And of course, now you can see where I'm coming from and why I said that perhaps that one wasn't or shouldn't be on the list. Fable 2 is, again, a game that I think stands the test of time because it's so old now, and it is a really, really old game. And the fact that there's going to be Fable 4 coming out as well. It's a series that I think, or a franchise that I think many people hold dear to their hearts, which is again why I think it deserves to be on this list. It's a interesting, unique take an open world RPG with serious in-game consequences for your actions and choices.
Yeah. I'm ashamed to say I've never played any of the Fables.
Are you kidding me?
No, never. I think I've got Fable on the Xbox on one of the Game Pass things, but I've
Terrible,
never played them. It's never been a game that I've gone, right, I'm going to play this and definitely need to play it. But I think,
you're a little bit late to the party, of course, now.
yeah, a little bit. But yeah, it's something I definitely need to have a go of, because I think you and Marty as well told me that you can do all sorts in it. You can buy houses and rent them out to people, and
Yeah.
you
So
can.
it's one of those ones where, like, so for instance, in this one, there is a morale system, good or bad, and of course, the gooder you are, the more angelic you look, and if you tip over to that evil side, well, then you can become pure evil and turn into a demon and a devil, essentially. However, I was always more corrupt. I was a corrupt, evil dude. And so I was like this grey, hulking dude as well. And of course, the more you ate, the fatter you got. So it was, you really saw, your actions have a serious impact on your gameplay.
Consequence.
And I think that's incredibly unique.
Yeah. You see, I'm more of a always do good in games. I try to be bad sometimes, even with Red Dead Redemption. I tried to be bad in that and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I always end up getting close to like either a good ending or okay ending, rather than this guy's murdered the whole village. Now he's living in one house. But yeah, no, I I try to do the good guy endings as much as possible.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Another one for me would have to be the Far Cry series. I think Far
No,
Cry.
no, which one?
So Far Cry
Stop
3 and 4,
nominating multiple
multiple.
games.
I mean, I've not played the newest Far Cry, which is
Okay, I have
I've not had to go with that yet.
6.
Is it? See, I think I played the demo of it, but I've not played it properly.
They're all very similar, though, aren't they? I don't know
Yeah,
if you played the last 3, for instance, but they are pretty much all very, very similar.
yeah,
You know, you take out the head and take out the different areas, take it under your control and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not saying they're bad games. They're actually very good at what they do.
yeah. But they sort of reskin and put. So you've got the fair, what one of the other ones? Well,
You're
I think it
telling
was
me
number
it's a
three.
reskin. You just nominated this for the
Yeah,
greatest game of all time, and now
no,
you're telling me it's a
it's
reskin.
it's in my top 100. But the fact that like the start of the
Which
game.
one? You haven't
Okay,
even decided. Wait,
okay.
1, 2, 3.
No, I think it's number three where he goes to scatter his
Okay.
mother's ashes, and at the
Yeah.
start of it, you get Pagan Min, I think his name was, and he basically is really nice to you, and he invites you to his, his compound, which is, and he says to you, I need to go deal with something. Wait here for 20 minutes, I think it is. Now, you can escape, and if you escape, you then get into the game. However, if you wait for them 20 minutes and he comes back, you can finish the game within them first 20 minutes because he will then take you to scatter your mother's ashes and then the game ends. Obviously, you don't get to play the game, so but
Yeah.
they've had them in quite a few of the Far Cries where if you
They
listen
had that
to
at
the
number 5 as well. They had that at
yeah,
number 5. You had the option, I think, to arrest the bad guy or don't arrest
yes,
him.
Jacob something I think his name was, and yeah, you get the choice of either arresting him or leaving him, and if you leave him again, the game finishes straight away. But if you choose to get into the game, then you've got to carry on with the story. But yeah,
Hmm.
Far Cry 3, I think it was Far Cry 3 with Pagan Min.
Okie dokie. Right, Fable 3 then. In that case, I'm going to go way back, even further than Fable 2. We're going to go with none other than Doom. I believe this is the original first person shooter game, which is kind of insane the way that is, going back that long. But John Romero obviously made a game again that stood the test of time. It kick-started a huge franchise, and I think it deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, definitely Doom. I mean, I think you go to a lot of the older generation as well, and their probably first games is probably Doom. I haven't played the originals, but I have played some of the newer ones a few times,
It's
and
actually on remaster. It's been remastered. It's on the Xbox for like £2.
okay, might have to pick it up and play it again for a bit of nostalgia. But yeah, Doom. The original, did you say?
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. My next one would have to be Dying Light.
Okay,
Um,
I've heard good things about it. I've never
the
actually played it personally.
the first one has to be the first one. I wasn't keen on the second, but me, Marty have put so many hours just going around finding different ways we can behead zombies or see if how much we can get across the island doing parkour. But Dying Light, I mean, they continue to put DLCs and they continue to put updates out years and years after it came out. So, I mean, I think they did keep up with the game and kept the game alive. And then when number four came out, I think it just flopped sort of thing. I think it just
Hmm.
didn't hit with a lot of people. But yeah, Dying Light 1, the original.
I wish there was
Uh,
more zombie games out there, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Um, Close to a zombie game, but not really.
Mm,
Has to be my nomination is Fallout New Vegas. Now, Fallout New Vegas was actually made by a different studio to Fallout 3. They came out
okay.
quite close together, I believe. And Fallout New Vegas offers a lot of what Fallout 3 does, except it, in many ways, controversially, done it better than number 3. Again, open world RPG, real time choices, multiple endings to the game. And I felt that it was a game that you could really get lost into and
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. And of course, replay because there were, I believe, 4 different endings.
Okay. I think I did play Fallout Vegas, New Vegas. I'm not sure.
Oh, you did?
Um,
I
I
literally was like, oh, you didn't play it.
I'm pretty sure I did. I didn't play it a lot, but I do remember having a go of it. But I think out of them, I think Fallout 4 was sort of my first
Big time
get
into it.
stuck into. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, Fallout New Vegas, because I think
Okie dokie.
it originally did come from a 2D map, and it was, apparently it was really hard to play, and it was sort of a niche when Fallout first
You mean
came
one
out.
and two?
Yes.
One and two, yeah, yeah. I haven't played one and two myself. They're games that I'd love to play.
Yeah,
I'd love to get into. I need to download them on the PC at some point.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of people do say that if you want to play the originals, are very, very different to the newest, like, but
I think close to the originals that you could play these days, so I'm told, is Wasteland. If you've ever played them,
I've never
Wasteland
played
2 and 3.
Wasteland. No.
They are, I believe, one of the creators of Wasteland actually was involved in making Fallout and inventing Fallout.
Yeah.
So the style of game is very, very familiar.
Okay. I'll have to make. I think I do have it, so I will have to. I think on the PC I've got quite a lot of the Fallouts. I got them in a bundle deal, so
Oh, okay.
they are worth having. My next one would have to be Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was sort of a GTA like. I
He
think.
was like an undercover cop, right?
Yes, you're an undercover
Yeah.
police officer. I think you sort of infiltrate the triads, and I mean, the fighting was fantastic, and the gunplay I was never really interested in, but the fighting, the hand-to-hand combat, I thought was absolutely fantastic. The way you could use your environment to take out your enemies and things like that. I remember when it first came out, I couldn't get past a certain level because I was in the middle of fighting, I think, three guys, and one of them had a knife, and I just could not get past this one guy with a knife, and it annoyed me. But I did pick it up again recently on the PC, and I have been playing it again recently. But yeah, Sleeping Dogs is in my
I
top
like
100.
those GTA inspired games. To be fair, I
Yeah,
think GTA kind of kicked off a genre in a sense,
yeah,
and Sleeping Dogs come along, and yeah, I think it done a really good job. Don't hear much about it these days.
no, the nice has
Right,
been.
so my next nomination is I'm going with the classics really because this one is Metal Gear Solid, um,
Which one? The original?
the original.
The original.
The original is a really good game. It's I think again it's a classic. It's one of those ones that is very very iconic, and it is a game that has stood this test of time and
Yeah.
developed into a really big franchise. Um, and I think it absolutely deserves to be at least
In
nominated.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did. I don't think I ever played the original. I did play one on the PlayStation 2, I think. But my most recent one would be Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain.
Yep.
Did you ever play that?
Mhm. Yep.
That
Did.
was I did actually really enjoy that. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid has to be probably top 50, if not even better. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um, Let's see. Right. So one of mine has got to be Red Faction. I can't remember
Okay.
which one it was, but I remember one of them was on the PlayStation 2. Now, we didn't,
That's what
I
I
remember,
played.
yeah, me and my foster brother at the time, we never really played the story. We just carried on playing against bots, and
Yeah.
it was like a versus mode, and that we put hours and hours into that. I remember times when it was just me and him versus each other, and we wouldn't shoot each other. We'd try and build a tunnel through the map to the other side of the map where the other
That's
team
cool.
spawns.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Faction. I didn't enjoy the newest one, but I did love Red Faction.
That's definitely a worthy mention. Absolutely a worthy mention. But guys, that is all we have got time for in this episode. Of course, if you have any games that you want to nominate and pop onto this list before we actually get to them, just to fill out the list, let us know. Pop it down in the comments. And of course, don't forget, we do actually have an active and growing Discord. The link for that is down in the description. But until next time, I've been the Monk. This has been Gavin, and I'll see you in
Catch
the
you
next
next time.
episode real soon.